The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, this is Greg Fitzgerald, Chief Operating Officer of Javelin Networks. Here today presenting to you is Eyal Neemany, who is a Senior Security Researcher for Javelin Networks, who's built a tool called the Honeypot Buster, which is now available on GitHub. Eyal, I'll turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you, Greg. So today I'll be speaking about my recent PowerShell-based red teaming tool. It's called the Honeypot Buster, which is an open source tool that I just released prior to the Black Hat Conference 2017. And we'll go through all the features of the tool, and eventually I'm gonna show you a demo and how to use it presentation. Okay, so let's start. So just a quick introduction about the tool and what it is and why did I build it. Okay, so the Honeypot Buster is a tool developed in PowerShell, fully in PowerShell, and designed to work inside an Active Directory environment. The main purpose of the tool is to find easily detectable honeypots, breadcrumbs, and deceptions that are specifically designed to lure attackers and deceive them inside an AD environment. So I built the tool after realizing there's a demand for honeypot avoidance in the red team sector and lack of knowledge about how to detect lures inside Active Directory and how they build them. So my main goal is to raise the level of security that deceptions will be able to achieve in the cybersecurity industry by pointing out the holes in the deception story and the technology behind it. So in my opinion, that potential of the deception is huge. Escalating this cat and mouse game will benefit both the defender and the red teamers that are doing all the checkings. So finally, gaining back the advantage over the adversary in the red versus blue fight. And right now, this is my opinion, most of the public Active Directory deception solutions offer low tech that are easily detectable. So also about the technology behind it and what's different between all the vendors that are selling you deception. So basically everything is using the same technology, but they're offering like a different story around it. So most of the current deception solutions in the market have some of these flaws. They're not authentic. What I mean by that is that attackers can distinguish between a fake and real objects. So what they're selling you sometimes it's just not authentic enough that real attackers and experienced attackers will be able to be deceived by this kind of deceptions. Another thing about them, most of them are not scalable. So what they are offering you is requiring a lot of complicated honeypot machine deployments and placement in all of the LANs. And this kind of process is going to give you a hard time when you're working in a very huge environment, especially when we're talking about Active Directory environment. It's definitely going to be a hard time for you. So another thing about them, they're not efficient. So they can't tackle the core issues of the Active Directory security. So when we're talking about Active Directory security, because it's such a hyped sector right now, they got much more attackers working on the Active Directory and searching for every little hole inside the AD in order to exploit it and maybe make the security of these holes a little bit better. Another thing about it is it requires high team maintenance. So what it means, you're just not gonna place it and leave it. All the solutions they're trying to give to you, they require a lot of maintenance, and you gotta check that everything is working well, and it's going to cost you a lot of time eventually. Another things about the solution when we're talking about Active Directory, they're actually changing and creating objects inside your AD topology. So what it means when they're creating the deception, they're actually creating real objects. So sometimes it might be creating another security issues when you're doing it. And sometimes it's just gonna make other people confused inside your own IT department, and they can't really offer you a solution for that. And eventually, they're all based on the same general technology and telling just a different story around it. So that's the weaknesses of deception. So Active Directory protection must be much more sophisticated. Casual deception and honeypot solution just not enough for that. So just after I showed you all the problems, so let's talk about the Honeypot Buster capabilities and what kind of Active Directory lures will it find. So the tool works on two different levels. So I'm talking about the endpoint level and the domain network level. What it means that what the tool will do, it will actually find things inside your endpoint and both on the domain, the entire network. So it will query the domain network. It's going to do LDAP queries for that and SAM enumeration in order to do that. And it's going to do the same on the endpoint level when it's going to fetch fake sessions with memory credentials, fake shares with logged on cached users, credential manager saved the credentials, and fake logged on user on registry. The last one going to be released in the next version of the Honeypot Buster. And on the domain level, what I'm going to find is Kerberoasting service accounts, honey tokens, fake computer accounts, fake domain admins accounts, and DNS records manipulation. So I'll just talk about each one of them on the other pages. Okay. So the first one is on the endpoint level, fake sessions with memory credentials. So this one is very common deception technique that almost all of the deception vendors are using, even the open source one and the ones that they are selling you. Everyone uses that. So I'm just going to show you how you can detect it very easily. So on the right, this is what we call a fake net-only user session. And on the left is a real user session. What you're seeing right now is just a screenshot of Mimikatz tool. So on the right, you can see that it's very easy to identify between a real and fake session. And by looking at the session session column between each one of them, you can easily distinguish between a real and fake one. So I'm just going to give you like a low-level explanation about it. So this one is called logon net credentials only fake session. So it is a method used by many solutions to spread their fake tokens. They're injecting fake credentials inside the Alice's process without authenticating it to the actual domain or DC. So by doing this, they can create a fake session of powerful privileged domain admin account, for example, but they're going to use it with a fake password. Therefore, when attackers will look for a privileged account in their admin hunt, once they will try to steal credentials from the memory, they will find the fake domain account and use it, fall into the trap, and be revealed. But the truth is, attackers can easily detect it when reviewing these two flags while stealing credentials. So as I mentioned before, the logon server and the logon session type. So just like the screenshot here from Mimikatz, while using the securely logon password command, you can distinguish between easily faked and a real session. The fake session has never been authenticated with a domain controller, while the real one did. So what we're seeing here is what the tool will look for automatically, and eventually just going to show you results of, okay, this session is fake. And here's an explanation and just a demonstration from on the left, you can see the guy from Topspin. There's a security researcher talking about this deception technique, and Benjamin Delphi tweet about it. So this is just to prove that deception vendors are actually using this method. And clearly you can see that tweet from Benjamin Delphi, Mimikatz developers, about how easy it is to identify the Decept project by Dell, SecureWorks. And there's many more examples of this technique brought up by someone from, like, for example, from Topspin Deception Talk, and another one you can find on elusive Tom Sella talk from the recent DEF CON. So we'll move on to the next one. This one is from the elusive talk. Okay. So map drives and credential manager breadcrumbs. This one is another method used by many more deception solutions in order to spread the tokens via the credential manager. So the credential manager is a vault that stores all of your passwords and accounts for services and applications. So let's say you're connecting to a remote share or a remote server. Your operating system will eventually ask you, do you want me to remember this password? So if you say yes, it will be stored in the Windows Credentials Vault. And once attacker will try to dump your credentials from the memory, you will be also able to view this one in clear text. So deception solutions kind of trying to leverage this security issue to spread deception tokens via the credential manager. So the detection here might be trickier, but it is possible. So correlating it with this data and with many more collected from the Active Directory about the fake user token they're trying to deceive here, and the target server they're trying to show you in the credential manager, attackers can realize there might be fake. So except for the credential manager, many malicious automated scripts and worms are spreading via SMB shares with pre-configured cache password. This is a very common thing in many Active Directory-based environments. So if they're accessible via the privileges of the current running user, or even if they have a cached password, deception solutions trying to leverage this one too, because this is a common thing that many IT departments do inside your environment. So the Honeypot Buster will try to correlate some of the data collected before in order to identify any mapped drives that's related to a specific Honeypot server. So just to prove you, just like the recent method, you can see here brought up by Symmetria APT report, and also by Topspin Deception Talk, the same one from before, and Elusive Fooling the Hound, sorry, on the right. Okay, so the next one is on the domain network level, and it's called Kerberoasting service accounts. So as an attacker inside an AD environment, maybe you've heard about a silver ticket attack vector. So what it actually does is when attacker gets inside your AD, he will be requesting for all the hashes, requesting for a TGS for a service account. So this is a common method to crack service accounts and performing what it called Kerberoasting, which is a good, very stealth method to elevate privileges and performing lateral movement inside the AD environment. So recently, Sean Metcalf from AD Security have published an article about how to create Kerberoast service account honey tokens. So what my tool will actually do is to try to automate the lookup for these type of honeypots, such as the one described by Sean, and eventually going to bring up all the users that he might think they're suspicious and might be a honey token users. So just like the explanation here from the screenshot, so by investigating the service principal name attribute, the SPN, and analyzing another attribute inside this user, such as maybe if this user was never actually used or was never logged on, it will try to find automatically all the fake ones, all the honey tokens, Kerberoasting service accounts. So another one is the domain network level, fake computer accounts. So this method is commonly used by deception solutions, and it is creating many deception computers, domain computers inside your AD without actual devices associated with them. So it will result in confusion to any attacker trying to study network. So right now, what they'll do is just create many computer objects, and any attempt to do lateral movement into this fake object will lead to exposure of the attacker. So when an attacker will try to study network, they're going to have a hard time doing it because they're going to be a lot of fake objects inside of it. But the problem with these accounts and this method is that all of these computers were never active, and no one ever logged on into them, and their attributes will often be completely empty. So that's how attackers and the Honeypot Buster will be able to detect them, avoid and bypass them eventually. So the next one is the fake domain admin accounts. So this is just another method, creating several domain admins accounts who were never been active, and their credentials should never be used. So luring attackers to try and brute force these accounts and their credentials. Once someone tries to authenticate to this user, alarm will be triggered and the attacker will be revealed. This is a method used commonly by a lot of people trying to build honeypots, and even by Microsoft ATA. They're offering you to do this honey token domain admin account. So they'll tell you, okay, you create domain admin accounts, and from now on, you should know that no one should use it, but we're going to monitor everyone that uses it. So the detection method here is very similar to the fake computer accounts method, same as before. So if it was never logged on into, never active, I'm going to raise a flag and show you in my tool, in the Honeypot Buster tool, that this one is fake. So on to the last one. It's the DNS records manipulation. So this one actually going to give you the actual Honeypot server IP address. This is one of the methods used by many deception vendors in order to detect usage of these fake endpoints that were created, like in the method that I just showed you before, the fake computer accounts. And what they do is registering their DNS records towards they'll be registering the computer accounts as a DNS record that points towards the Honeypot server IP. So once they do that, they'll be able to point the attacker directly into their honeypot instead of the actual endpoint. So let's say you're an attacker inside your network and you're studying the topology of the network, and you're gonna try to lateral movement into one of the endpoints that you find might be interesting to do that. So what they will actually do by pointing the attacker, the DNS record of the fake computer into their honeypot, once you try to access one of these fake objects, you'll actually be pointed directly to the honeypot server, and you'll be caught as you're trying to do. This is actually the technology behind the deceptions that we're detecting. And by detecting it, we can actually point what's the IP of the Honeypot server and anything relating to it. So what the Honeypot Buster do is actually trying to calculate all the DNS records inside your environment and see if there are any anomaly. So let's say you have too many records with IP address which is the same. So it's going to detect it and show you, okay, these servers might be suspicious, and you might try to avoid it. So that's basically all of the features of the Honeypot Buster, and this is how actually the screen of launching the Honeypot Buster in a almost fully booby-trapped environment will look like. So you can see some of the object has something we call fake rank column associated with them. So the higher the rank, the more attributes. We found that points to this, trying to find out that as much as the higher the rank, so it means you have much more risk of using this object. So the launching of this tool is very, very easy. Just opening up PowerShell as an administrator, use import module by just typing import module and the script name, and just after that retyping invoke Honeypot Buster, and you'll have the results in almost no time. Just a few words about the tool. It's written in PowerShell. It supports version 2.0 and above. It supports all of the Windows OSs from Windows 7 and above. And we also support WinRM capabilities to do remote execution of the script for the second and the fourth token gathering stages. So it leverages LDAP queries to find domain objects, and then it will load the DLL. It will load it in memory in real time to access the ELSAS process and look for local tokens gatherings. So the Honeypot Buster supports all the Windows OSs, but we just, like in the next version, we're going to add support for the Windows 10 Creators Edition. And there's only going to be like one condition that the tool will not work. Some of the feature will not work when you have a Windows Credentials Guard on. Also, all of these results from the tool can be integrated with red team tools such as Empire or Bloodhound to enhance the automation of the red team hacking process. So that's basically it. Greg?
Yes, great. Thank you very much, Eyal. I think you did a
Sure.
great job. Hopefully, a very good background for everyone here. Look forward to finding out more, and you can, of course, download the GitHub tool here for the Honeypot Buster, and we look forward to following up with more tools that can show you how to both defend yourself better and be better protected overall. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eyal, and have a great day.
Thank you, Greg.